You Democrats. Tensions are boiling inside the Democratic Party after reports that Senate negotiators are ready to end a record setting 40-day government shutdown, but without securing an extension to the Affordable Care Act subsidies, which was the whole damn point. Progressives in the House erupted Sunday after Axios reported a bipartisan deal was, quote, within reach that would reopen the government in exchange for only a future vote on ACA tax credits in December. Now, Representative Kristen McDonald-Rivet blasted the move as caving on healthcare and failing working families. She ain't wrong. Massachusetts Democrat Seth Moulton agreed and said specifically, caving now makes no sense. Representative Pramila Jayapal called the potential compromise a giant betrayal of the American people and urged her colleagues to, quote, hold the line, save healthcare. Now, there are many Democrats who echoed that frustration. Lloyd Doggett said the deal amounted to trading something for nothing. Malcolm Kenyatta from my home state of Pennsylvania mocked it as a pinky promise from Republicans. Richie Torres went even further and called it an unconditional surrender. Every once in a while, Richie Torres say something that makes sense. A crooked lick, you can get a straight lick with a crooked stick every once in a while. But anyway, despite the outcry, 8 Senate Democrats joined Republicans in voting to advance the agreement late last night, which set off what some within the party described as a kind of internal revolt. Senator Tim Kaine, who voted yes, defended his decision. He went online and said a bunch of stuff that didn't amount to much, and he got immediate backlash with progressives accusing him and others of folding under pressure. Again, I want to remind you that this is the longest shutdown in U.S. history, and this was sort of the Democratic Party's final stand over healthcare affordability. It made sense. It was a righteous resistance. Got lots of criticism for the Democrats, lots of criticism for the plan itself, even more fundamental criticism for the healthcare system, which is not universal healthcare, it's universal health insurance. It's still financing and bolstering this healthcare industrial complex that really preys on the sick and ensures that we never get justice. But all of that aside, Democrats said, look, this is as good as it's going to get, this system, and this resistance will get us the fundamentals that we need to keep it going. We need subsidies. The ACA needs to be subsidized in order for us to give working people a chance, poor people a chance, sick people a chance. This was the plan. And they held out and they made a show of it. They made a spectacle of it. They got a lot of positive coverage. They got people who were falling off the Democratic wagon to jump back on. And then in the fourth quarter, they snatched defeat from the jaws of victory. They did what Democrats do. And that's why people like, Grilled Ribeye Steak said Democrats and oh no, I didn't see that. I didn't see that word there. No, I'm sorry. What I was going to say is he said basically Republicans and Democrats suck on both sides. Forgive me for that. This is why I should wear glasses, because I would have seen a word that shouldn't have popped up. But Kismet hits it on the nose and says so many people are surprised at Tim Kaine, in Virginia. I did it again. And you shouldn't be. Forget about the fact that Tim Kaine was Hillary Clinton's running mate, which should tell you something. Or was he? Or am I mistaken? Was that Evan Bay? No, it was Tim Kaine, right? Am I tripping? No, yeah, it was Tim Kaine. I was right. It's Tim Kaine. I've always talked about the Clintons being centrist. They're DLC Democrats, right? They're centrists at best. And there's a reason why she chose Tim Kaine, and the reason why she chose somebody in a purple state. He's middle of the road. So you shouldn't be surprised that Tim Kaine made this choice. He's exactly what the Democratic Party is. They're a bunch of centrists who are masquerading as leftists, and really it's two conservative parties on a certain level. And they're just pretending to be something different. And that's the problem. That is the problem. Hey Siri, play Folded by Kalani for the Dems, Rolando. Say, yo, Rolando, you ain't wrong, fam. Although Kalani deserves better. Shout out to Kalani, who actually is a freedom fighter. So ultimately, we have a couple issues here. One, we have no attempt to redress or to repair the fundamental problem, which is, of course, this healthcare system. But you also have Democrats who stood and grandstanded and did all the things except bring back what they came for. I understand that some people believe that, look, it ain't getting renewed. It ain't happening. Don't keep shutting the government down and allowing people to be denied their benefits, etc. I understand that perspective, but that perspective presumes that Republicans play fair. That perspective presumes that Republicans are going to come around later and give you what you need. Even if the best the Democrats can secure is a vote, then they have failed. This is about democratic leadership. If we've learned nothing from Zohran Mamdani in the last week, it's that when you give people progressive vision and fight for it, you can win. When you speak to people's needs, you can win. When you speak to affordability, you can win. When you address, you put a spotlight, not just address, but put a spotlight on the vulnerable, you can win. And it's like Democrats, they see these opportunities to be different, but they just won't be. They just won't be different. And that's incredibly frustrating. So, yes, the Democrats folded. Yes, they're disappointing. And it's these types of failures they think are going to position them better for the midterms because they seem moderate and reasonable. No, people are going to believe just what Perfectly Voiceless said, that the Dems have been bought and paid for and they don't care about their base. That's what people are going to feel. That they took one step forward and two steps back. Like Karen D said, because they are two sides of the same coin. And somebody said, oh, it was Rolando, said, anybody interested, you can update your party affiliation here. Look, I ain't telling people what to do, but there's a reason why I've never been a Democrat. It's because I can't get down with this kind of shit, man.